This is the daily writing recorded, number 12, titled The Creme Skirt. What a stupid item it was to get caught for. A creme skirt, practically worthless in the eyes of any man or woman. A piece of clothing meant to be worn over and over again until it is finally discharged upon some distant garbage belt. And yet, it was the very same item that got the group known as the Sparrow's Wasp caught for what was supposed to be a relatively easy and simple heist. A heist that after it was completed quickly ballooned into becoming one of the more infamous heists around the world. The Sparrow's Wasp was a loose collection of professional criminals whom for the occasion had met, mostly accidentally. 3 of the 5 members met each other in a pub drinking. 2 of the 3 met after having been introduced by a mutual acquaintance. These were Bobby Terrance and Lloyd Finster. Both men were hardened criminals who had as of yet not done any time or had any real altercations with the police that went further than an interrogation or 2. They were known but clean and thus perfect for the heist. The 3rd man, named Gerald Dunn, just happened to spot the 2 men meeting and put 2 and 2 together after eavesdropping on their conversation a bit. Bobby and Lloyd had no choice but to let him join. Besides, it was supposed to be an easy job anyway. In and out and off they would go. All 3 men had done it before and so would do again. Or so they thought. The final 2 men were decided upon after the 3 went over the plan and realized they needed more men for the heavy lifting. And so came in Hendrik Sigurdsson and Johnny Welts. They were relatively unknowns but had an even cleaner record than Bobby and Lloyd combined. Besides, as Bobby put it, they were massive and could easily lift an elephant if they wanted to. And so, they were in. All 5 men came together a few weeks before the heist was supposed to take place. "Alright lads," Lloyd said as he opened the meeting. "We all know why we are here. No need for introductions. Besides, the less we know about each other the better." The other man nodded in agreement. And so Lloyd continued. "So, with that out of the way, let's go over the plan and divide the tasks. Bobby?" Bobby took the cue and directed the others to follow him to the computer in the corner of the room. He sat down in the only chair and began to pull up architectural plans and photos he and Bobby had already taken. "Right," Bobby said after a deep sigh. "So, this is the house," he said, pointing to the screen. Upon it, he cycled through several pictures of a house somewhere in the countryside. "As you can see, it's out in the open with nothing around. This means 2 things. 1, we can do our job without getting disturbed. And 2, everyone will know that we are there. There is a village nearby, and you know how these people are. Any foreigner is going to get noticed quick. So we have to approach the house from the fields and avoid entering the village. It is the only way we can do it without getting noticed." Henrik leaned forward and gazed at the Google Map image of the village. "So, where are we going to post up?" he asked. "What do you mean?" Lloyd replied. "Oh, we're not," Bobby answered. "We'll drive up the night of the act and do it then and there." The other 2 men weren't too sure about it. "What?" Johnny chuckled. "We're not even going to have a lookout? How do you know there's not going to be anyone there?" "Because," Bobby said, "he's on holiday. He doesn't come back until next week. He doesn't have any live-in staff either. Several cleaners come by now and then, and a gardener or 2, but they won't be there that night." "And what about security?" Hendrik asked. "Now, that's the beautiful part," Gerald said. "It won't matter. There's a silent alarm on all the cameras in the world, but none of that matters. The signal's going to a police station with no one in it at night, and the cameras don't matter either because no one is watching. The company that takes care of it has far too many clients to pay attention to all the time, so they outsource some of that shit to some asshole sitting at home. And he's not going to pay any attention because he too has far too many screens to pay attention to. And if that weren't enough, we know he is a massive Man United supporter, so he'll be in the stand watching it all on his tiny phone." Hendrik and Johnny let the information sink in. "So," Johnny said slowly, "why has no one then done the job yet? How is it that we are the first guys to get to it?" "Because," Bobby replied, "we just are. You need to know what to look for, and no one was looking." "So how much are we talking about?" Hendrik asked. "What's the split?" "Well, and I'll be honest now," Bobby said, "we don't exactly know. We know the safe is stuffed with jewelry, as is the master bedroom, His missus has a lot of pieces. Bobby shifted to the missus' Instagram page and showed a few of the pictures of her wearing the variety of pieces. Okay, Hendrik replied, sufficiently impressed. So, who's taking him then? Johnny asked. Well, Lloyd said, we've got several guys in London. It depends on what it is, but we're probably going to have to split the loot. Because, one guy might not be able to take it all. Johnny nodded. Okay. The money will probably be in crypto though, Lloyd said. Actually, dependent on the loot, it probably will be both cash and crypto. But probably more crypto than cash. You guys know how it works, right? Both Johnny and Hendrik nodded. Good, Lloyd said. Good. We'll have to do some more surveillance. Obviously, we'll cut the safe here and, yeah. That's basically it. No more has been written or recorded. Thank you for listening. And let me know what you think.